has come to the point where you're now looking at conducting a DPIA, Data Protection Impact Assessment, and you'd like a bit more information around that.
Yeah, that's right. The portal's identified this DPIA from the processes of the process and analysis tool, and it apparently needs to be assessed. So, can you start by telling me why that may be?
Yeah, sure. So a DPIA may be needed for a number of reasons. Essentially, there's going to be one needed if processing is likely to result in a high risk to the rights and freedoms of data subjects. Right. This can be if you are processing large amounts of special category data, race, religion, medical data, for example, or if the process you are analysing on the process analysis is for a new system you're looking at introducing into the business. That may require a DPIA, and the system will pick up on that. The process analysis tool will pick up on that as you complete the tool itself. So on my screen here, from the one that we did earlier, we've got here on the screen that says that a DPIA has been required, as from the one we filled in on the last call that we had. So the triggers for you needing to conduct a DPIA are actually based off of the ICO's guidance for when to conduct one as well.
Okay, fair enough. So what does the DPIA actually look at then?
So the DPIA is a risk assessment exercise, and that will look at the process in question, what the risks to that data used in the process are, and you'll be asked to describe a possible risk. So on the screen here, I've identified our sales process as one that needs a DPIA. So if we go on to that, it will list all of the information around the process. And we essentially have to outline a potential risk. So say, for example, someone could obtain a staff member's username or password, or both, to Salesforce, for example, or whatever CRM system you use, and gain unauthorized access to your client's data. That would be a potential risk. So in this scenario, you would then have to rank both the likelihood of this occurring and the likely impact if this were to happen on a scale of 1 to 5. Yeah. So 1 being unlikely to happen and having a low impact, with 5 being very likely to happen and a severe impact. The next step to that would be then to ask yourself, what can you do to reduce the risk? So for the example that I'm going through here, we'll look to reduce the risk by enabling two-factor authentication on the system, meaning that any hacker would need to get past another layer of security. And with that in mind, we'd then look at re-ranking the risk score, again doing 1 by 5 on likelihood and severity of the risk. And hopefully, because of the action that we described above, two-factor, we would hopefully then be able to reduce the risk score. So say maybe it was a 3 or a 4 to begin with on both the likelihood and severity. Now maybe it's a 1 out of the 1 to 5 scale. So with that in mind, there may be certain risks that you can't reduce in any way. And at that point, it would ask you to look at escalating the risk, because if necessary, you may need to raise any risk that you can't reduce with the ICO.
Well, we've spoken before about this, and I said to you at the time about it becoming complicated, and this actually now sounds like it's becoming complicated. So what kind of assistance, if any, can I get when I'm doing this?
Yeah, absolutely. It can be a complicated thing to go through. So what we have put on the portal is we do have a guide to what the risk scores mean on one tab. So next to the DPIA for the process, we have a guide to the assessment of the impact, which tells you what you should be scoring 1 to 5. Guide to the assessment of the likelihood and possible mitigations that you can use, and what the definitions are. But if you do need more help to that, we do always, as we've mentioned on other topics, there are always the info bars which provide a bit more context online. But if you need help that the portal can't provide you directly, say this is the first time you've ever done a risk assessment of any sort, Data Vista can always look at providing consultancy and advice to you if need be, and we can help conduct the DPIA with you.
Okay, well, again, Lloyd, thanks again for all your information, and I'll go away and have a look at this, and if I struggle with it, I will be coming back to you, but I think you've explained it well enough for me to be able to continue to navigate the portal. So thanks again for your time, and speak to you again, I'm sure, if I go wrong. Cheers, thanks now.
Yeah,
bye.
No worries. Cheers, Gary. See you.
Bye.
Bye.